everybody, Sandre here, and this is a video that I didn't really plan, to be honest. I was working on other videos to upload instead, but this one's gonna be quick to make, so might as well make it. And basically yesterday, a friend of mine introduced me to this Green New Deal, I don't know what to call it, like PDF file that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez made public on the 7th of February, I think it was. And then apparently it was pulled down. I don't know too much about it, but I just knew that there was a big brouhaha around it. And after reading it, I now understand why. So before I start to tear into this, frankly, amateurish file, let me just make one thing clear. I don't look for reasons to dislike AOC, I really don't. Thing is, I have nothing against politicians like her, to be honest. I support politicians like her. I supported Bernie Sanders during the 2016 presidential election, until he was shafted by Hillary. And I can't stand Hillary, but I did support Bernie. And I very much agree with a lot of her talking points. I think as well that there should be universal health care. I agree that there should be some kind of job guarantee. I agree that you should have a functioning social security net. I agree that there should be universal education. Essentially, you know, you go to college for free and stuff like that. I very much support all of that. I do. So those proposals that she makes, I agree with them. I have no problem with them. The only problem I have, though, is that she tends to propose things, and when she's pressed on the issue, she has no idea of how to actualize it. She has no plans as to how to actually achieve her goals, if you will. And if you're going to propose things like that, which I fully support, you know, I believe in the welfare state, I do. But you need to be wise about it. If not for the sake of, you know, just having a functional system that you set up, at least in the sense that you don't give the opposition ammunition. The thing I don't like about her is she keeps giving the opposition so much fucking ammunition all the time. And when she releases documents like this one, it's not hard to understand. Another thing I just want to make clear, I have debunked climate deniers in the past. You will find videos on that topic on my channel. I'm actually working on, the next video is probably going to be a video where I take on James Alsop and the video he made regarding climate change. So I'm not some fucking climate change denier. Climate change is real. It's a problem. We need to deal with it. All I'm saying is we need to be wise about it. So I'm telling all of you this because I know, just because I'm going to criticize this document that's been made by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or at least it was released by her, just because I do that, I know for a fact some people are going to try to claim that I'm either right-wing or that I'm denying climate change and have some kind of invested interest in tearing this shit apart. No, I have no such interest. I agree with most of her policies. I even agree that we need to do something about climate change. I just think this... you know what? You're going to notice why I have a problem with this. Now, even a regular person is going to have a problem with, you know, what you're about to hear in this document. But especially someone like me, all right? I'm a scientific student. I'm a chemistry student. Trust me, I know the science of this stuff, and I know what's doable and what's not doable. And a lot of the things in this document just isn't realistic. Anyway, I've been rambling enough. Let's just begin. Overview. We will begin work immediately on Green New Deal bills to put the nuts and bolts on the plan described in this resolution. Important to say so someone else can't claim this mantle. Anyone can claim that mantle. Whatever. This is a massive transformation of our society with clear goals and a timeline. I'm not so sure. The Green New Deal resolution, a 10-year plan to mobilize every aspect of American society at a scale not seen since World War II to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions and create economic prosperity for all. 10 years just isn't enough. Just straight off the bat, it's not enough. This is way unrealistic. Move America to 100% clean and renewable energy. That's doable, all right? That's not a problem. You can definitely get all your energy from renewable sources. It just ain't gonna happen in 10 years. Okay, now you don't even need to be a scientist to understand this. Okay, this is a fucking pipe dream. Create millions of family-supporting wage union jobs. All right, I don't have a problem with that. I agree with that 100%. Ensure a just transition for all communities and workers to ensure economic security for people and communities that have historically relied on fossil fuel industries. Again, I don't have a problem with that. That's good. Ensure justice and equity for frontline communities by prioritizing investment, training, climate and community resiliency, economic and environmental benefits in these communities. Again, don't really have a problem too much. I wonder though what she means with equity and justice. It's because those are wishy-washy terms, but whatever. Build on FDR's second Bill of Rights by guaranteeing a job with a family-sustaining wage, family and medical leave, vacations and retirement security. Okay, I agree. High-quality education, including higher education and trade schools. Good. Clean air and water and access to nature. Clean air and water, sure. Access to nature, I'm not really sure what that's supposed to mean. But anyway. Healthy food. Again, not really sure what that's supposed to mean. I support it though. High quality healthcare, okay, fine. Safe, affordable, adequate housing, again, fine. Economic environment free of monopolies, fine. Economic security for all who are unable or unwilling to work. Unwilling to work. I'm sorry, AOC. Do you want the Republican Party to shove this shit down your throat? Do you want them to gain a bunch of fucking supporters? Because that's what you're doing here. I understand economic security for those who are unable to work. But those who are unwilling, I mean, what the fuck? So, no, I'm serious. What the fuck, AOC? What the fuck? I support a welfare state, I really do. Some people can't work, and that's fine. They need to be supported anyway. But when it comes to people who just don't want to work, no, fuck them. Fuck those people. You know, they should be on welfare until they get a job. But they shouldn't even get away with saying that they don't want to work. There is no time to waste. IPCC report said global emissions must be cut by... Wait, what the fuck? 2 buys. AOC, did you check this document before you publish... Whatever. 40 to 60% by 2030. US is 20% of total emissions. Yeah, that's true. We must get to 0 by 2030 and lead the world in a global Green New Deal. Not gonna happen. No, you're not gonna get to 0% by 2030. It's just not gonna happen. So, sorry to break it to you, the unicorn doesn't exist. Americans love a challenge. This is our moonshot. Well, Americans may love a challenge, but they don't appreciate a pipe dream. When JFK said we'd go to by the end of the... For fuck's sake, what the fuck? When JFK said we'd go to... I'm guessing it's supposed to be moon. By the end of the decade, people said impossible. People said it wasn't... AOC, what the fuck? If Eisenhower wanted to build the interstate highway system today, people would ask how we'd pay for it. When FDR called on America to build 185,000 planes to fight World War II, not all of those planes fought though. Some of the, a lot of those planes were just transport planes, whatever. Every business leader, CEO, and general laughed at him. At the time, the US had produced 3,000 planes in the last year. By the end of the war, we produced 300,000 planes. That's what we are capable of if we have real leadership. That's what you're capable of if you have a foreign leader who is directly threatening your sovereignty and security. Alright? The problem with climate change is it's an unseen enemy. It doesn't even have bad intent in mind. It's just a natural phenomena. Alright? It's much easier to rally people behind a cause if they can actually see an evil guy with a weird mustache. People can't see climate change. It's different. I see your point, I do. But you gotta understand, a war economy is not the same as a peace economy. This is massive investment in our economy and society, not expenditure. I agree, I do, but you have to be realistic. We invested 40 to 50% of GDP into our economy during World War II and created the greatest middle class the US has seen. That's true. That's true, AOC, okay? But part of that, I'm not saying all of it, because I think that's a bit of a myth, but part of that was also because the US direct competitors have been, struck out, essentially. Most of the competitors on the global market to the US had essentially been eliminated. They were, the factories of Europe were bombed asunder. Okay? So that's part of the reason too. It's not the entire reason. In fact, I would say that's the minority of the reason, but it's still part of it. So it's not as simple as you make it. The interstate highway system has returned more than $6 in economic productivity for every $1 it cost. Yes, but what's the time scale here? What's the time scale? It's taken a long time. Again, I fully agree that, the government should invest into green technology. Yes, it should be done, but you also need to be realistic about it. This is massively expanding existing and building new industries at a rapid pace, growing our economy. Sure. The Green New Deal has momentum. 92% of Democrats and 64% of Republicans support the Green New Deal. I don't give a shit. Argument from popularity doesn't fucking matter. No. You shouldn't care about politicians here. You should care about what the actual scientists have to say, the actual experts. And for my matter, I have to say you're fucking batshit crazy if you think this is actually attainable. Nearly every major Democratic presidential contender say they back the Green New Deal, including Elizabeth Warren, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about these people. I don't even care about Bernie Sanders. You know why? Because Bernie Sanders is not a scientist. He's not an engineer. He's not an economist. Okay? These people are not relevant for the viability of his plan. 45 House reps and 330 plus groups back the original resolution. Again, I don't give a shit. Over 300 local, don't care. New resolution has 20, don't care. Facts. Why 100% clean and renewable and not just 100% renewable? Are you saying we won't transition off fossil fuels? Yes, we are calling for a full transition of fossil fuels and zero greenhouse gases. Anyone who has read the resolution sees that we spell this out through a plan that calls for eliminating greenhouse gas emissions from every sector of the economy. Simply banning fossil fuels immediately won't build a new economy to replace it. This is the plan to build that new economy and spells out how to do it technically. I see no such thing. We do this through a huge mobilization to create the renewable energy economy as fast as possible. We set a goal to get to net zero rather than zero emissions in 10 years because we aren't sure that we'll be able to fully get rid of farting cows and airplanes that fast. But we think we can ramp up renewable manufacturing and power production, retrofit every building in America, build a smart grid, overhaul transportation, agriculture, plant lots of trees, and restore our ecosystem to get to net zero. Sorry, no, Alexandria, no. No is no. Even if that's your actual goal. No, those things either. No, you're not going to achieve that in 10 years either. Like, what you're describing here is such a huge undertaking. It's going to take longer than 10 years. It's just, no, you cannot achieve this in 10 years. I'm sorry to break your bubble, but it's true. You're not going to achieve this in 10 years. Not even that part. Oh, God, now we get into really dumb territory. Is nuclear a part of this? A Green New Deal is a massive investment in renewable energy production and would not include creating new nuclear plants. It's unclear if we will be able to decommission every nuclear plant within 10 years, but the plan is to transition off of nuclear and all fossil fuels as soon as possible. No one has put the full 10-year plan together yet. Well, no shit. And if it is possible to get to fully 100% renewable in 10 years, we will do that. You're not going to get rid of nuclear. You're not going to get rid of nuclear. Look, let me just make this clear. I do not like nuclear energy, okay? Nuclear fission has a lot of risks to it. It does. When people say that nuclear is the future source of energy, they're full of fucking shit. No, it's not. Okay? Nuclear energy is not the future. It's very fucking dirty. If something goes wrong, you have a huge area, like a ridiculously huge area, to clean up, and that area may not be livable even for fucking decades. You know, it's rare that something goes wrong, but if it goes wrong, it goes very fucking wrong. So nuclear fission is not the future. Maybe fusion. The problem with fusion is they keep saying, oh, it's only 40 years away. They said that like 50 years away. They said that 50 years ago. So fusion has barely started to break even. All right, and it's going to take more. It's going to take even more decades to become actually profitable. So fusion, sure, when it happens, it happens. But fission, no, fuck fission. Even the thorium plants, although they are better, they're still not optimal. All right, so no, nuclear fission. I do not like nuclear fission. But here's the thing. You know, I have this pesky little quality about me. I'm a realist. And here's the sad truth. We need nuclear. We need nuclear fission. If you want to get off fossil fuels in just 10 years, you're definitely going to need nuclear. It's that simple. I don't like nuclear power, but I realize that we are going to need it for at least another 3 decades. At least. Because there's no fucking way you're going to cover up the entire loss of electric power produced by switching entirely to renewable in just 10 years. It's not going to happen. During this transition period, we're going to have to become even more dependent on nuclear until the part of the market that's renewable becomes big enough to replace both fossil fuels and nuclear power. It's that simple. Nuclear power is not the future, but it is the present, and it's going to be the near future as well, whether you like it or not. It's that simple. You're not going to get rid of nuclear power. You can't. To do so would be very fucking irresponsible. In fact, here's the problem. Since there hasn't been any new nuclear plants built in the US for the last, what the fuck is it, like 40 years? There hasn't even been any restorations, really, when it comes to the ones that are already built. So what's happened is, you have a lot of nuclear plants in the US right now that used to be pretty safe. You know, it's never entirely safe, of course, with nuclear fission, but you know what I mean. But now they're actually really unsafe. So at the very least, AOC, you're going to have to restore those nuclear plants. In fact, you're going to have to do it anyway, even if you disregard this whole question about climate change. You're going to have to do that anyway, just because they're becoming more and more unsafe, just because there's been a refusal to expand or at least maintain that part of the electric grid, nuclear power. All right? So no, you need nuclear. It's that simple. Does this include a carbon tax? The Green New Deal is a massive investment in the production of renewable energy, industries, and infrastructure. We cannot simply tax gas and expect workers to figure out another way to get to work unless we've first created a better, more affordable option. Good, good. So we're not ruling out a carbon tax. We're not ruling a carbon tax out, but a carbon tax would be a tiny part of a Green New Deal in the face of the gigantic expansion of our productive economy, and would have to be preceded by first creating the solutions necessary so that workers and working class communities are not affected, all right? While a carbon tax may be a part of the Green New Deal, it misses the point and would be off the table unless we create the clean, affordable options first. Does this include cap and trade? The Green New Deal is about creating the renewable energy economy through a massive investment in our society and economy. Cap and trade assumes the existing market will solve this problem for us, and that's simply not true. While cap and trade may be a tiny part of the larger Green New Deal plan to mobilize our economy, any cap and trade legislation will pale in comparison to the size of the mobilization, and must recognize that existing legislation can incentivize companies to create toxic hotspots in frontline communities, so anything here must ensure that frontline communities are prioritized. Okay, fine, I don't have a problem with this either. Does a GND ban all new fossil fuel infrastructure or nuclear power plants? The Green New Deal makes new fossil fuel infrastructure or nuclear plants unnecessary. No. No. Look, people are going to need power. Your population is growing, so the energy need is still increasing. In fact, by definition, those parts of the electric grid are going to be even more necessary as time moves on. Question is, can renewable cover for that necessity? And it can, but it's not going to happen in 10 years. So whatever, I'm going to skip that. Are you for CCUS? We believe the right way to capture carbon is to plant trees and restore our natural ecosystems. CCUS technology to date has not proven effective. Okay, so carbon capture technology, that's what it stands for, all right. Okay, so here's the thing though. I don't see the problem with investing some of the money that you want to invest into that technology though. Yes, should you plant trees? Yes. Should you restore ecosystems? Yes. Should you cut down on emissions? Just cut them down, basically. Yes, you should. But I honestly don't see the harm of investing a little bit of money to see if you can capture that carbon somehow. All right? Now, I'm a chemistry student, okay? Capturing carbon from the air is my field. It really is. It's actually possible. You can definitely do it. The question is, can you do it in an energy efficient manner, or even more importantly, can you do it in a cost-effective manner? As of right now, you can't, but if you solve that puzzle somehow, all right? If you solve that puzzle, the possibilities are fucking wonderful, all right? All of a sudden, no, we can literally just fucking suck the carbon dioxide out of the air, and we could do it more effectively than any tree. Just imagine, all right? Just imagine this. In every single major metropolitan city, fuck it, every city on Earth, you have a huge artificial structure that captures the carbon dioxide emitted by the cars. All right? Now, this could be powered by renewable energy sources. So we could essentially undo what we've been doing for 150 years. AOC, okay? I really don't see the damage of this. Why not invest a little bit of money into this carbon capture technology? I know it's unlikely to become energy efficient or even cost efficient even within the next 30 years or so, but still, if you can make it work, I mean, at least if it's subsidized by the government, why not? I mean, fuck, you seem to think that you can get off nuclear power in 10 years. I mean, this is actually even more realistic in 30. So, God, this is so dumb. How will you pay for it? The same way we paid for the New Deal, the 2008 bank bailout, and extended quantitative easing programs. Wow, yeah, the 2008 bank bailout. That was so popular with the working class, was it not? No. That was a terrible idea. Look, what happened with just letting banks fail? Yes. It would have caused an economic crisis to just let them fail. I get that. I do. But isn't that what the whole market is supposed to be about? This whole fucking bullshit, oh, too big to fail. Well, no. Fuck them. If they fuck up, let them fail. Yes, society is going to suffer for a while, but at least that would send a signal. You know, it would send a message to Wall Street that, hey, if you fuck up too much, no one's going to save you. Yeah, the bank bailout was a dumb idea. If you are going to do a bailout of some kind, at least make, you know, demands on the companies and banks. Like, okay, we're going to bail you guys out. However, here's our list of demands. Like, they could have told General Motors, you're going to start making electric cars and whatnot. Okay, you're going to start to invest in that technology. This money will not go to bonuses. You will not lend money to people who can't possibly pay back those loans. You will not treat the market like a fucking gambling house. Alright, you know, stuff like that. Anyway, I'm rambling. Why do we need a sweeping Green New Deal investment program? Why can't we just rely on regulations and taxes and the private sector to invest alone, such as a carbon tax or a ban on fossil fuels? The level of investment required is massive. Even if every billionaire and company came together and were willing to pour all the resources at their disposal into this investment, the aggregate value of the investments they could make would not be sufficient. Well, that's the thing, though. Like, shouldn't that tell you something, AOC? Look, if you are gonna do this, and I have nothing against the proposal in of itself, it's just, it's unrealistic. If you make the time scale longer, then all of a sudden, most of the stupid shit here wouldn't be so stupid anymore. But, you know, the fact that it's gonna cost that much money should tell you something, alright? That's why you need to be responsible. Do you know what that word means, AOC? Responsibility. You can't be unresponsible when it comes to people's tax money. And this entire document is really fucking irresponsible. This is not realistic. The speed of investment required will be massive, blah, blah, blah. Simply put, we don't need to just stop doing some things we are doing, la, la, la. Merely incentivizing the private sector doesn't work. I agree. The tax incentives and subsidies given to wind and solar projects have been a valuable spur to growth in the U.S. renewable industry, but even with such investment promotion subsidies, the present level of such projects is simply inadequate to transition to a fully greenhouse gas neutral economy as quickly as needed. I agree. I don't have a problem with that. Once again, we're not saying that there isn't a role for private sector investments. We're just saying that the level of investment required will need every actor to pitch in, and that the government is best placed to be the prime driver. Again, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that. That's true. I agree 100%. It's just, you got to be realistic as well. So you got to be realistic about the timescales here, AOC. All right, it's that simple. Once again, we're not saying that there isn't a role for private sector investments. We're just saying that the level of investments required, blah, blah. Resolution summary. Created in consultation with multiple groups from environmental community, environmental justice community, and labor community. How about coming up with a plan with scientists? Actual fucking scientists. That would be wonderful. 5 goals in 10 years. Net zero greenhouse gas emissions through a fair and just transition for all communities and workers. Not gonna work. Create millions of high-wage jobs and ensure prosperity and economic security for all. Not gonna happen in 10 years. Invest in infrastructure and industry to sustainably meet the challenges in the 21st century. Not going to happen in 10 years. Clean air and water, climate and community resiliency, healthy food, access to nature, and sustainable environment for all. Not going to happen in 10 years. Promote justice and equity by stopping... Again, what the fuck are these terms? What the fuck does this have to do with the climate? Preventing future and repairing historic oppression of frontline and vulnerable community... Shut up. Just shut the fuck up, AOC. What the fuck? Historic oppression. Look, bitch. I hate to say this, but now you're really pissing me off. Climate change is a global phenomena. Okay? Climate change does not give a fuck how poor or rich you are. It's gonna affect everyone. Everyone. Do you understand? Alright? This fucking bullshit about historic oppression, no. Fuck you. Has there been historic oppression? Yes, of course. But it's not relevant regarding a natural phenomena like climate change, because that bitch does not fucking discriminate. Everyone's gonna suffer if climate change is going by unchecked, okay? Stop this fucking identity politics bullshit. I don't give a shit. Most people don't give a shit. Your little clique of social justice-y people may give a shit, but I don't. And I'm an actual fucking scientist to be, so fuck you, you should listen to me. National mobilization, our economy for... What? National mobilization, our... Do you mean of? Should it be national mobilization of our economy through 14 infrastructure and industrial projects? God, this bitch doesn't know how to write. Or at least not how to fucking properly check a document before publicizing it. Every project strives to remove greenhouse gas emissions and pollution from every sector of our economy. Build infrastructure to create resiliency against climate change-related disasters. Repair and upgrade U.S. infrastructure. ASCE estimates this is $4.6 trillion at minimum. Again, with that much money at stake, maybe you should have a more realistic plan, just saying. Meet 100% of power demands through clean and renewable energy sources. Not going to happen in 10 years. Build energy-efficient, distributed smart grids and ensure affordable access to electricity. Not going to happen in 10 years. Upgrade or replace every building in the U.S. for state-of-the-art energy efficiency. Not going to happen in 10 years. Massively expand clean manufacturing like solar panel factories, wind turbine factories, battery and storage manufacturing, energy-efficient manufacturing components, and remove pollution and greenhouse gas emissions from manufacturing. Not going to happen in 10 years. Work with farmers and ranchers to create a sustainable pollution and greenhouse gas-free food system that ensures universal access to healthy food and expands independent family farming. Not going to happen in 10 years. Totally overhaul transportation by massively expanding electric vehicle manufacturing, build charging stations everywhere, build out high-speed rail at a scale where air travel stops becoming necessary, create affordable public transit available to all with goal to replace every combustion engine... Okay. This is not realistic. Not just because you want to do this in like 10 years, okay? That alone is unrealistic. But no, look. There's no reason to get rid of plane traffic. Now, I know what I'm about to say is going to trigger a lot of people who claim to be for the environment. Trust me, I am too. And unlike you motherfuckers, I actually have a natural scientific education. Alright? So trust me, I know what I'm saying here. So let me just say this. Air traffic is not that big of a problem when it comes to emissions. Did I spook you? Are you guys shaking now? Do you want some hot cocoa? Do you want to watch a video of puppies frolicking in a flowery field, perhaps? Are you people shaketh? I said it. Air traffic is not that big of a deal. If you look at the total emissions by humanity when it comes to CO2, only about 2% is from air traffic. 30% is from traffic on the roads. And about 50% is from the industry and farming. Alright? So that means that if you were to cut out air traffic entirely in the US, which is not going to happen anyway, but let's just say for the sake of argument to do, well, you've only fixed 2% of the problem. Obviously, that's not the way to go. This is fucking obvious, okay? The way to go here is to focus on the parts that actually are the big emitters. So, traffic on the roads and industry and farming. Leave the planes alone because they really aren't that big of a deal. They really are not. It's true that pound for pound an airplane is way worse than a car even. It's true. But you don't have nearly as many planes in the world as you have cars. So on average, if you look at the total amount of CO2, very little is actually from is actually from airplane traffic. And this whole thing about high-speed trains, yes, I'm fully in favor of that. I really am. However, for whom are you making these trains? You know, high-speed trains, sure, they work and whatnot when you do them right, but they require certain circumstances. In some parts of the US, a high-speed train makes sense. But again, since airplane traffic really isn't that big of a deal to begin with, I don't really see the harm of people flying, to be honest. I say leave people alone, let them fly. Focusing on trying to make electric cars more common, though, that's fine. That's the way to go. And also, here's the thing. There's such a huge culture in the US of the car. The car culture is dominant. People are going to prefer the car. Always. Especially in the US. You're not going to get away from that. So people are not going to give up their cars. So the best thing you're going to do in the vast majority of cases is get people to drive electric. So that's the way you should go. You know, go with the path of least resistance. It just makes sense. Alright? What else? I forgot what I was going to say now. Anyway, moving on. Mitigate long-term health effects of climate change and pollution. I'm not really sure how you're going to do that, but, you know, universal healthcare, if that's what you're suggesting, again, I'm fully in favor. I don't have a problem with that. Remove greenhouse gases from our atmosphere and pollution through afforestation, preservation, and other methods of restoring our natural ecosystems. Sure. You know, that's fine. I don't see what you can't... I don't see the harm in investing a little bit of money into technology of capturing carbon, though. Restore all our damaged and threatened ecosystems. You're pretty much just repeating things now. Clean up all the existing hazardous waste sites and abandoned sites. Fine. Identify new emission sources and create solutions to eliminate those emissions. Fine, I guess. Make the US the leader in addressing climate change and share our technology, expertise, and products with the rest of the world to bring about a global Green New Deal. But here's the thing, though. China is leading the world. You know, China still gets the vast majority of its energy from coal. It's going to continue to do that for a few decades more, but they are the nation in the world, I believe, that has the fastest growing sector of renewable energy. And that's good. So if anything, maybe the US should swallow its pride and learn something from China. Just saying. Social and economic justice and security through 15 requirements. Here we go. Here's the cancer. Massive federal investments and assistance to organizations and businesses participating in the Green New Deal and ensuring the public gets a return on that investment, fine. Ensure the environmental and social costs of emissions are taken into account, fine. Provide job training and education for all, sure. Invest in R&D of new clean and renewable energy technologies, fine. Doing direct investments in frontline and deindustrialized communities that would otherwise be hurt by the transition to prioritize economic benefits there. Use democratic and participatory processes led by frontline and vulnerable communities to implement G&D projects locally. Ensure that all G&D jobs are union jobs that pay prevailing wages and hire local. Okay, fine. Guarantee a job with family-sustaining wages. Fine. Protect right of all workers to unionize and organize. Fine. Strengthen and enforce labor, workplace health and safety, anti-discrimination, and wage and hour standards. Fine, but I mean, anti-discrimination against what exactly? Are we talking gender? Because I'm sorry, honey, it doesn't fucking exist in that sense. Nothing is stopping a woman right now from joining a fucking oil rig or a fucking electric power plant. You know, it's her choice. If she can meet the standards, she's welcome. Wage and hour standards, I don't really understand what this is supposed to mean. Enact and enforce trade rules to stop the transfer of jobs and pollution overseas and grow domestic manufacturing. Fine, I guess. Ensure public lands, waters, and oceans are protected and eminent domain is not abused. Fine. Obtain free prior informed consent of indigenous people. What the fuck? You know that pipeline that was going to be drawn through that Indian reservation not too long ago. There was a standoff in Little Rock, I believe. It's not as simple as people make it out, okay? First of all, that pipeline was supposed to be like 500 yards or something below ground. Something like that. It was very deep down, okay? And apparently there were measures taken to make sure that it wouldn't leak into the fucking, groundwater and whatnot. Of course, you can never guarantee that 100%, but basically they had taken most of the precautions you would ask for to make sure that it was safe. It really wasn't it really wasn't what it seemed to be. If you have to route everything around the land of Native Americans, I'm sorry, it's gonna be too fucking expensive. It's gonna be. I don't know what you're planning here, but guess what? You're probably gonna have to drag it through a reservation at some point, and you know what? You're just gonna have to fucking deal with it. Ensure an economic environment free of monopolies and unfair competition. Fine. Provide high-quality healthcare, housing, economic security, and clean air, clean water, healthy food, and nature to all. Again, some of that I don't really understand what you mean, but fine, I guess. So yeah, look. Some parts of this I don't have a problem with, but some parts I have a huge problem with. Not because I necessarily disagree with the goal, but I disagree with the time scale. I'm sorry, Cortez, okay? This is unrealistic. Anyone with any kind of scientific background is going to look at this and laugh at you. I'm sure they are. I'm laughing at you. And you're just giving a bunch of ammunition to your enemies. Especially when you have shit like this, unwilling to work. No, fuck you. Just fuck you. Fuck you. No, fuck you. I support a welfare system to take care of people who have ended up wrong, who have ended up on the wrong side of life. I support a system that catches people who can't work. That's fine. I'm behind you all the way. But when it comes to people who are simply unwilling, fuck them. Just fuck. Look, I've had to work my ass off my entire life. Okay? I'm from very humble beginnings. I grew up poor as fuck. Alright? I'm from the fucking hood. I'm from the ghetto, an actual fucking ghetto. People can fucking try and educate me all they want about social and economic equality and what. No. Look, I know it's real. I know economic inequality is real. I know it, folks. I've experienced it myself. But I got to where I am through hard work. Alright? I had to bust my fucking ass. I had to work my ass off to be where I am today. And throughout my life, I've had to take jobs that I didn't like, but I had to take them to support myself. That's just how life is. If I wasn't able to work, that's another issue entirely. But if people can work, and they simply don't like their job, well, tough shit. That's life. Deal with it. You're a fucking adult. You're supposed to be, at least. Anyway, that's it for this video. I know it's not as fucking intellectual as you may like. I know I've been swearing a lot in this video too, and to all my new subs that may be a bit unexpected. What can I say? I'm allergic to stupid. Can you blame me? Anyway, next video is probably gonna be a video where I take on James Allsup and his fucking video on climate change, and I'm gonna put an intellectual cap up his ass, basically. Anyway, bye!
to go away.